Hey y'all, and welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, welcome. I'm Nicole with Bushel and Designs. Today we are working on a 32 ounce slightly tapered tumbler from the Tumbler supply store, and I am working with a template from Diamonds and Dust, and I needed to make it have a wrap, or like make it so that the template fits around this tumbler. Because it's so large, I'm having to do a little bit of finagling here. So unfortunately, somehow I didn't end up recording all of how I cut it or how I sized it, but I just used the conjugal wrap warp tool, something like that, in Silhouette Studio software. And I'm just writing all of my dimensions here just so I don't forget, because I will forget. And I'm writing those down, and then this is the template that I used, and then I cut it out of this really pretty holographic smiley face vinyl from 311 Co. And I used Trina's hack, Trina from Diamonds and Dust. I used her hack when you cut out a template on patterned vinyl. If you're going to be painting it, cover it first in transfer tape. That way it is pre-cut with it, and then you can paint and peel it up and you get a nice clean crisp line, and it's protected on that vinyl. So I did that. Because the top portion, I originally was going to do it a little bit differently, but the top portion, the vinyl wasn't big enough to cut to fit around that whole top portion. So I'm improvising and I'm just adding these pieces by hand. This cup really just went in a totally different direction, but I just hand wrapped or hand placed all of the little sections on, because I was just going rogue here. I really just was like, let me just have a shot at it and see what comes of this. So I just added the bigger chunk piece, and I didn't quite line it up, so I trimmed it off there with my X-Acto knife. And then I'm placing the littler sections by hand as well, just lining those up. And then when I reach the first part of the tumbler or the vinyl that I put down, I'm just lifting up that transfer tape that I put down so it doesn't overlap over the transfer tape. I'm trimming it off here just so it looks like it lined up. You know, sometimes we just improvise like that. So then I am adding one more stripe, and then I'm going to lay that down just like the rest. I'm just eyeballing the spacing. I don't know if it was perfect, but you know what? Sometimes I hate to measure, so sometimes I just eyeball it. I do the same thing when I hang pictures on my walls at home. I don't know if you guys do that, but I'm not a measurer, so I just eyeball it. My husband, he gets out the ruler and the measuring tape, and he's like exact precise. Me, not so much. After that, I went to immediately painting this tumbler, and I'll be honest, I didn't want to give it a really heavy opaque coat. I wanted to add a little bit of pink because the glitter we're using isn't quite very opaque and it's not holographic. I am using Flamingo from Diamonds and Dust, but I knew that it had a little bit of opaliness to it. But my thought process was, if I put a little bit of this pink paint, it'll help with that color. But also, if a little bit of the stainless is showing through, it'll kind of help bring the illusion of it looking holographic as well. So the reason I chose the pink is because in this vinyl, which I don't know why I didn't show you a close-up of it, but there's little pink specks on it. So I wanted to bring out that pink element from the vinyl. Then in this middle section, I didn't worry about painting it at all because I am using Radiance from Diamonds and Dust, and it has a great silvery color shift, so I didn't feel like I needed to paint it since the stainless is silver anyway. So I painted that middle stripe, and then I'm just using my Crystal glitter glue, and I did the very bottom as well. And then as soon as I am finished with that, I'm not letting it dry, and I am immediately peeling up all of that transfer tape. We don't want the glue to dry, because then it will be a lot harder to get that transfer tape up. And I'm just taking my time and peeling all of that up. And see right here, you can see that vinyl. It is printed on holographic paper, so I was really trying to really enhance all of that holographicness. I don't know what you call that, but you get my point. So I peeled up all of that, and then I did not seal this because I wanted, instead of adding a little bit of glitter to the epoxy, I wanted that like color shiftness to just go ahead and spread over that vinyl, just to add a little bit of sparkle to it, but it wouldn't be enough that it would like cover up that vinyl. After that, I gave it 2 coats of epoxy. I gave it a really good sanding, and then I just created this Mama SVG by typing it 4 times, and then I cut it in black and then gave it an offset with this beautiful holographic silver vinyl. It is Tech Wrap Crafts, and I think it is. Yes, it is Tech Wrap Crafts, and I think this time I just got it on Amazon. And I applied that decal at the lowest point in that dip of the template, and then I'm going to stripe out each line in the same silver holographic and line out that bottom rim as well. And then in the center of each of these stripes, I am adding a very thin black stripe, just so it kind of ties in with that decal. And then you saw where I held up this little smiley face. I hand cut that out of some extra of the vinyl that I had. And after I add a coat of epoxy onto this, I am going to add that in the center as well. So after I was done with all of that striping, I gave it another coat of epoxy, and I let it just spin overnight. And then the next morning, I went ahead and added that smiley face. I tried to center it right in the Mama words, but I realized that I wasn't quite in the center, but it's okay. It still looked good. And then I measured the width of that smiley face, and then I just created some offsets to make some rings, and then each ring I made it a compound path so that there was no center area. And I did the same thing, the holographic circle, and then a thinner inside circle in black, and that was it. I gave it another final coat of epoxy, and this beauty was all done. I love holographic things. I don't know, there's just something about the way the light picks up all of that color shift, and it's so fun. So that was it. This one was pretty simple, and I hope that I have inspired you in one way or another. I appreciate you coming back for another day of our mom inspired series, and I will be back again tomorrow with yet another one. As usual, I will leave all of the information where to find me and the products that I use down in the description box, and I will see y'all tomorrow. Have a good night, y'all. Bye.